This is a momentary on-off pedal, often used on a synthesizer as a damper pedal or a hold pedal, it's sometimes called. It has on its connector end a 1/4-inch phone jack, but it doesn't produce any sound. That jack is connected to the hold or sustain or damper connector on the back of your synthesizer. And this is meant to be operated with your foot, obviously, but for my purposes, I'm taking pictures of it on a countertop, so I'm working it with my hand. You'll notice I can press it down, and that would be equivalent to engaging the damper lift function of a piano. And with this pedal down, the keys on the keyboard will most likely sustain. They'll keep playing even when you let go. When I let go of the pedal, it returns to its off position, up position, it springs up, and that would stop the notes from sustaining. So sustain, off, and it springs back. These pedals on synthesizers, though, can be used for other things. Any function of the synthesizer that can be turned on and off. So we looked at the arpeggiator. You could, in theory, set it up to turn an arpeggiator on or off. You could, on some synthesizers, set up this pedal so that each time you click it, we move to the next patch in the list, similar to the increment button on the front panel. And finally, you could set this up, if you like, to have the pedal on introduce vibrato or some other effect to a sound, let go, and that effect is taken away. So it's called a momentary on-off pedal, and it can be used for functions that respond to on-off type signals. The next pedal I want to show you is an expression pedal. That's this one here. The same 1/4-inch connector. It looks a little bit like a guitarist's volume pedal. If any of you in the class are guitarists, you might have seen a pedal that looks like this, or a wah-wah pedal. But those typically will have 2 jacks, an in and an out, and no fixed attached cable. An expression pedal works a little differently, so they usually come with a fixed cable like this. And you can see it looks a little bit like the gas pedal on your car, except the gas pedal on your car, when you press it down and let go, it springs back up. This pedal, which is typical of an expression pedal, will stay at whatever position you set it. I can push it all the way down, or leave it halfway up, or all the way up, or anywhere in between. And when I let go, it will stay at that setting. So an expression pedal is really good for using to control functions of a synthesizer where we want to enter in a specific value. For instance, a common use of an expression pedal is to control the volume of the instrument, the loudness. So with your foot, you can adjust, have it very loud, or taper back the volume a little bit, or have it play very soft, or all the way up is typically silent when we're using this to control volume. In that sense, it's like a guitarist's volume pedal. But here's where it differs. This pedal, just like the momentary pedal that we looked at a minute ago, can be used to control different functions. I could, if I wanted to, have this control vibrato or modulation, similar to a modulation wheel that we find on several synthesizers. Instead of volume, I could have it control modulation to introduce a little bit of vibrato or a lot of vibrato or something in between, depending on how the pedal is set. I could, if I want to, it's not really practical, but if you were doing it for special effects, you could even use this as a pitch bender and use it to control levels of pitch, all the way down, depending on how the synth is set, maybe an octave, and anywhere in between a lesser value, a smaller musical interval. So again, this is an expression pedal. Expression pedals typically are more expensive than these momentary pedals, just because there's more to it, more to producing the pedal. These typically will range, the expression pedals, I'm guessing, I haven't shopped for one in a long time, but I'm going to say probably $50 $40, that range, could even be as high as 70. And the momentary pedals you can typically get anywhere from $10 to $20. In the old days, they used to give these away with the synthesizers. But as you know, no such thing as a free lunch these days. They don't give away any pedals. So there's our short little tutorial on pedals.